I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Nashua Conservation Commission for Tuesday, August 5th. Madam Clerk, will you take the roll, please?
Certainly. Commissioner Carew?
Present.
Commissioner Parati?
Present.
Commissioner Dutsey?
Present.
Commissioner Whithu?
Present.
Commissioner Darby?
Present.
Commissioner Sarno is here. And Commissioner McCarthy and Commissioner Cook are absent at this point.
Okay, and we also have Mr. Akinci. I love the pronunciation of that name, and I always screw it up. So we have Mr. Akinci here, present also. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the July 1st, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? Commissioner Whithu?
On page 2, it should be GOV, environmental, G-O-V-E.
Okay, gotcha. Any other corrections? Commissioner Whithu?
On page 5, the next to the last paragraph, it says Commissioner Whithu led a discussion. I don't think that was me.
Next to the last paragraph, Commissioner Whithu led a discussion about, that was Commissioner
Prod.
Darby.
I think so.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, Commissioner Darby. Any other additions or corrections? Commissioner Darby?
I can't find the page right now, but the reference to Riviere, I think, was misspelled. I think it had an E on the end. About Riviere's Community Day.
Which one? What?
Riviere's Community Day.
Oh, yeah, Riviere was misspelled.
Right,
You're
yeah.
correct. Let's see. Yeah, it was page 5, 1, 2, 3, the third large paragraph. Yeah. So that needs to be changed. Any other additions or corrections? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion for approval and placing on file?
I'll make the motion.
So moved by Commissioner Darby. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, seconded by Commissioner Whithu. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Mr. Kinsey, do we have the site walk minutes for Teak Drive? I know that I was remiss in sending them out late. So we'll have to table that, postpone that until the next meeting. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, next on the agenda is old business. This is relating to the City of Nashua, Department of Public Works for a training facility with access off of 25 Teak Drive. So tonight, what I would like to do is we are going to have a presentation by Mr. Quigley and Mr. Hudson to go over what we went over at the last meeting and at the site walk. Once that has been presented and the commissioners have had the opportunity to ask all the questions that they want, we will then invite the public to come up to the microphone and offer their comments. We request that you limit your comments to 3 minutes each. And if you have the same comments, we would prefer not to be repetitious. So, it's not 5 people saying the same thing that makes any difference. It's really the variety and the concerns that the residents have. The other thing I want you to be aware of is that whether the commission does a favorable or unfavorable recommendation, we oftentimes put in what we consider to be stipulations. Some of those stipulations can be mitigation. For example, tonight, one of the stipulations might be that they use a pollinator mix so that we can mitigate some of the issues from having more asphalt. So residents should be aware of that. If you have any consideration for any mitigation, the commission would be more than happy to hear about that. We don't have the answers to all the questions. We don't see things from perhaps the same perspective. So we would be open to that. But we would hope that you would respect, everybody's time tonight and keep comments succinct and to a minimum. Thank you. Okay, with that, Mr. Quigley, do you want to come up and recap where we're at?
Okay, thank you. Good evening. For the record, Brendan Quigley. I'm a wetland scientist in New Hampshire with GOV Environmental Services. This is our second meeting, as you noted, following a site walk, which we held with a number of residents in attendance, and heard a wide range of concerns. While our focus here tonight is on the wetland-related natural resources, we do come prepared. We hope to address some of those concerns as the commission feels appropriate, as well as update you on a couple of revisions which specifically relate to the wetlands and the work. Before we do that, though, I'd like to invite Chief Buxton to make a few comments on the project, and then I'll continue with the presentation.
Good evening. My name is Steve Buxton. I'm the Chief of National Fire Rescue, and I want to provide you just a quick overview of our current training operation and the proposed relocation of the training facility. To give you a quick little background, the fire department has maintained a training facility on the landfill property since the early 1980s. Over the years, we've built a strong relationship with the neighbors as well as the public works. And as our departments have grown to meet the needs of the community, we've existed in a co-location sort of scenario, which is a little bit unique, but it's proven to be highly efficient for both of our organizations. Over the past 40 plus years that the facility has existed there, we don't have any recorded complaints or concerns from any of the neighbors, abutters, or anything to do with the environment. We're committed to continue to be good neighbors, and that will continue. A lot of people are wondering why we need to relocate the training facility. The designated new site will allow us to continue to meet the needs of our community in a more effective and modern manner. We have a few requirements for the new site, which is kind of why we're here tonight. Water supply is an issue on the backside of the property. According to NFPA standards, which we operate under when we do live fire training, we need to have 2 hydrants available to us to supply water. We need to bring water in from the Teague Drive side of the property. Extending it through the landfill is not feasible due to cost and pressure limitations within the system. Bringing water from the Teague Drive side will also allow us to eventually install a hydrant within the landfill property, which currently doesn't exist. It will significantly enhance our fire suppression capabilities within the landfill, which, as you know, is quite a large piece of property. Power does already exist out there due to the cell phone tower. The other big issue is the access road. The alternative road through the landfill is not suitable for regular use. While it could serve in emergencies, and we would consider it a second means of egress out of the property that we're proposing, using it regularly would require significant improvements that would have a greater environmental impact potentially than what we are currently proposing. I want to emphasize the fact that the fire apparatus that we utilize and would be gaining access through that road are pretty highly specialized pieces of equipment. A fire engine costs just under $1 million, and an aerial device costs just over $2 million. Regular passage over inadequate roads is not acceptable or sustainable for our operation. That said, the training site won't generate high traffic use. It'll be limited and controlled. The site that has been designated is flat. The runoff from our training activities will be contained within the landfill boundaries. And our live fire training, which gets a lot of attention, is very regulated by the NFPA as well as the DES, and we're only allowed to burn clean wood or hay. Having this training facility within the city is vitally important to our operation, not only for our members, but also for financial reasons. Our ISO rating within the city is significantly impacted by our ability to train at this facility. That in turn affects insurance rates for property owners in the city, as well as public safety assessments. Training on this site receives higher credits by the people that rate us than training that is conducted, what we refer to as in-district training in other parts of the city. More importantly, having our crews train locally ensures that they can remain available to us should a major emergency erupt within the city. I want to point out to you that the nearest alternative training site for us to utilize is in Concord, New Hampshire. Sending their crews there is not really feasible, and it certainly would make them unavailable to respond to any major emergency that occurred. Obviously, a well-trained fire department is essential, not just for the safety of our members, but the safety of the community as a whole. I just wanted to express our appreciation for your time and consideration on this important project, and Brendan will come back up and review the technical questions and details of the project. Thank you.
Chief Buxton, before you leave, does any commissioner have a question for Chief Buxton at this point? Commissioner Sarno?
Will this only be used by Nashua firefighters, or will other departments use this facility?
There are other departments that utilize our facility. They mostly are abutters, but it's very seldom. I would say less than half a dozen times a year do we have other departments training out there, and it's all conducted within business hours.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
The color plan?
Mr. Quigley, if I can, so it's been a long day here, and you're talking to an old lady with hearing aids, so if you can project a little bit more, it would be better for me. Thank you.
I may have to bend down occasionally and take a drink of water. I'm not all that young either. But, so I'll just briefly recap the site visit and the project as a whole, and then go over some of the relatively minor, but we think impactful revisions that have been made since we last met. So the project, as we've sort of alluded to here, is the construction of essentially an access driveway from Teak Drive to the training site at the landfill. The wetland impacts and buffer impacts associated with this driveway are all shown on this plan. Although the road itself is roughly 1,000 feet long until it reaches the landfill, all the jurisdictional wetland impacts and buffer impacts are located in this area, which resides just beyond the boundaries of the roadway. And as we discussed out in the field during the site walk, we have sort of a more unique, valuable wetland, which would be on the eastern side of the road, which is a vernal pool. The large portion of this exists kind of off the plan, but it does have a tail, so to speak, that extends just up to where the impact is located, or the crossing has been designed. And that was by design to avoid impacting the vernal pool itself. There's two wetland impacts in this area. One is essentially a stormwater basin. That's sort of the first wetland that we encountered once we left the road. And this is really very little functions and values to this area beyond stormwater. And that impact is, it does qualify as a wetland technically by the 3 parameters, and that's why it's on the plan. The second impact, going towards the landfill now, is the crossing just beyond the vernal pool, and this would be sort of the connection point between the vernal pool and the larger forested wetland areas to the west, which then extend down along the side of the road, but which we're out of the buffer of that area for the rest of the proposed alignment. Altogether, the proposed impacts to direct wetland impact is 2,545 square feet, and buffer 9,533. All of the buffer impact, by the way, is associated with the natural area of wetland, as the detention pond, the stormwater wetland, does not have a buffer in Nashua. So I mentioned there are some changes. By and large, the project it remains unchanged as far as the impact or the alignment of the road. There's been some small technical changes to the drainage up front, which you'd be hard pressed to actually identify. I'm sure Mr. Hudson can speak to those if there's interest. They're minor changes. The pipe actually got bigger in that area. Most substantially, the pipe for the main crossing, which does provide connectivity between the vernal pool and areas on the other side of the road. There was some discussion about the size of that and the nature of that crossing. And we recognized those concerns and came up with what we feel is a better proposal to make that pipe a 48-inch pipe, which is now going to be embedded such that it has a natural substrate through it. And that, given the nature of the project as a public project and the connectivity that this is a low-use road where there's not going to be a complete separation from the vernal pool and its surrounding habitat. That's a pretty good compromise, we believe. Beyond that, we also discussed a couple other things, one of which you mentioned in your introductory comments, which was the use of a wildflower mix or native seed mix. We're prepared to commit to using that. I think most appropriately in the areas of graded slope that are located in the buffer, and potentially up towards the front of the road where there might be more interest in aesthetics. And the exact nature of this might be up for discussion. It would likely have a mix of wildflowers and pollinator species so that it provides some erosion protection as well, whereas a pure wildflower mix might not do that within the first season, so that's important. But there are mixes available for that, and that's something that we're committed to providing. More sort of in conjunction with that, there was another comment which I believe I mentioned I had to discuss with the engineering team a little bit more, and that was with the wildlife-friendly erosion control. There is some areas of these slopes where there's rolled blankets, rolled erosion control products, which are notorious if they have plastic netting or thread, are notoriously dangerous for certain wildlife. So that it turns out to be fine to use a natural product. There's a number of different options. And that commitment's been added to the plans as well. There's not terribly much more. I know there's a lot of other concerns. I figured we'd maybe address those as they came up, as appropriate. We are, like I said, we are prepared to do that. And I'd first ask the commission if I could answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions, commissioners? Yeah, Commissioner Sarno?
We had talked about the possibility of putting a area equal to that which is being disturbed in either wetland or wetland buffer. That area would be basically outside of the 100-foot vernal pool buffer. Our concern is, as you know, when vernal pool species leave the pool, they need woods to actually exist in. So the request that I would have would be to put that area under a conservation easement with the purpose of keeping it forested for wildlife habitat.
Okay. Yeah, we did discuss that. We did not forget about the request. To be perfectly honest, we had a hard time sort of figuring out where that might be and what the mechanism would be, since the property is already owned by the city. And I think there's a willingness to look in. I think we can certainly do something along those lines. We just didn't identify exactly where that would be. Another thing we discussed in terms of improving the vernal pool is some sort of a cleanup effort, which it could benefit from. It's hard to tell. I'm not sure what it looks like right now, but when I was there initially last winter and the water was very low, there was a number of items that in there that probably could be taken out fairly easily. As far as protecting land, I think that we'd have to discuss that more. I certainly can't commit to anything right now, but it is largely protected already. Yeah, we'll have to look at that more.
Yeah, so I'd say it's a pretty isolated little slice of land that we're talking about, and so what I'd really like to see is some kind of conservation easement placed on that little slice of land, because we know that in time that area may be needed for expansion of the landfill, et cetera. So that's why I would make this request. Thank you.
It would be my understanding, though, I mean, the land is owned by the city, operated under the auspices of the Department of Public Works. So I would assume that although Mr. Quigley could designate an area for conservation, that we would probably have to go through the DPW commissioners to actually place a conservation easement on it. I mean, because it's we would have to get city approval to do that. That would be my understanding. So I don't know how we would be able to work this into a stipulation. Mr. Kinsey, do you have any suggestions? I know, I know it's an unusual situation, although I agree with Commissioner Sarno that we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We're going to be looking at another expansion project that's affiliated with the landfill. So, it's possible 5 years down the road, the area that we're talking about could be developed. So I agree with that. It's just that within this purview, I don't know how we handle that. That's the issue. Okay. Commissioner
Yeah,
Sarno?
I certainly don't know the mechanism to
Mechanism.
handle it either, but I think we could at least make the request that it be looked into.
Yep, granted, agreed, yeah. Commissioner Darby, did you still have a question?
Thank you, Chair Dutsey. I didn't see before the 4 pictures of the clearing. I was wondering if we could go to those 4 pictures and talk about those briefly, especially the north-facing picture and the east-facing picture. These were pages 8 and 9, I think. Yeah, that's what it says on my page. It's not exactly 8 and 9, there's a few
Those are the
little
pictures,
beyond that.
but further down in there.
Yeah, scroll down a little more, I'll tell you when. Keep going. Right, that one? It's 14? Yep.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So when we spoke at the last meeting, that we talked about, there was a berm, which is, I think, what we're seeing there, is a berm across part of this. Because my continued concern is the steep drop-off on the other side of that berm towards wetlands, and where the water's going to flow from the, the exercises.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering if this has been evaluated, and if, for example, that berm can be brought to the southeast, sort of like, from this picture into the lower right, to continue that berm to prevent the water from flowing down into that wetland.
Yeah, I'm not sure that is looking at. Right. I'm not sure that shows the berm all that well. But, I guess the direct answer is, we didn't look at that particularly because it's kind of outside of the road.
Right.
Everything that goes on there now flows towards the various swales that are in amongst the dump area, or the landfill, rather. But I can't speak to exactly what the management is there.
So if we go to the next picture. This talks about debris pile, and this, it looks like maybe this is where the exercises take place, since it's all blackened in there.
No, there's no training exercises up there now.
I see,
That's all happening at the front of the landfill now.
I see.
You're probably looking at there is sort of the outskirts of the composting operation, which is very adjacent to that. Only having ever been up there once to look for wetlands, which I didn't find. They are, not too familiar, and the trucks kind of move around, so I'm not sure exactly what direction that's looking at.
I mean, it says it's facing east, but,
That whole landfill area is in a hole. So I don't believe that any water is going to be exiting outside of the site. maybe Dan can confirm
And
that.
that was a highly disturbed area with a lot of degraded compost, right, over the decades, that area. I thought I saw a picture of it that looks, I mean, it's pretty what we would consider mucky, a pretty mucky area because of the composting.
Well, but that's all it's sort of a thin cover. I mean, there's windrows of compost out there now that I imagine move around
Yeah.
on a regular basis, so. But the area, as a whole, is compact, ground.
But regardless, that would be out of the purview of the Conservation Commission because there are no wetlands in that area. I mean, it's a wet area, but there are no wetlands.
Which is precisely why we haven't detailed it in any particular way for this, in this forum.
Okay. Are there any other, Commissioner Sarno?
So this is not a wetlands-related question, but I'm wondering if there's any openness on the part of the city to allow a survey of grassland bird species on the property?
Yeah, so this is sort of a sensitive issue. There is such a study going on right now, as mandated by Fish and Game under a management plan for landfill activities. Beyond that, it's not something I can share publicly. But that is actively going on. In fact, it did occur just this spring. And I believe will be continuing for a number of years. If you're interested in learning more about that, I think I'd be happy to petition Fish and Game, on your behalf for some sort of, be able to release some of those details.
That would be great, thank you.
That survey is under the purview of Fish and Game?
My understanding is it was a requirement of the permitting, specifically the alteration of terrain permitting, that was required for what's ongoing at the landfill right now. So just as in my report, I had the NHB that had the species on it, the same thing was done back then, but their work was, we don't know. We still have a pending request with them for the dredge and fill application, which has recently been submitted. And I noted in there the same thing I just told you, that there is an ongoing study under a management plan for those species.
So if you could intervene on our behalf to express our interest in any report or survey of wildlife within the landfill area, we would be most appreciative.
I'd be happy to ask.
Okay. Any other questions? Commissioner Darby?
Thank you, Chair. Since I get to ask questions, I'll ask on behalf of the residents, since we definitely heard a lot of feedback. The chief mentioned that there would be environmental impacts to bringing the road in from the other direction. I understand that that it's not possible to bring the water in from the other direction. But did you evaluate the wetland impacts of bringing the road in from the other direction and the water in from the direction you're proposing?
Well, we certainly drove out there. The road is far longer. It's not a road. The path that would need to become a road is far longer, with wetlands sometimes on both sides for a good part of the way. The situation is that you don't need to do a calculation to see that it's vastly more impact. and it's longer. So, I guess the simple answer was, that was evaluated, but it was deemed to be not feasible from the beginning. So it's not a viable option to even consider.
Mr. Quigley, just to clarify, I was unaware that there are other, I recognize now that there are other wetlands in the landfill because we have another application. But what you're saying is that coming in from the access point now in the landfill and going around to the proposed training area, there could be other wetland impacts along that way?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
The road may currently, you can drive out, I can drive my car out there now, my small Subaru. But in order to make a road that's sufficient for large fire trucks, large, as Chief Buxton noted, valuable machinery that it does not want to be regularly driving on rough surfaces and tight turns and stuff, that would have to be improved the whole way, on the order of what we're proposing here. And it's, I think, about 3 or 4 times as long. Now, not all of that's wetland impact, but
Right.
the wetland impacts would surely exceed the 2,500 square feet we're proposing here.
Okay. Any other questions? Last one, Commissioner Darby, okay? We're good with that?
Thank you one more time, Madam Chair. Do you know how the siting process works for the actual training landing? Like how the site is prepared for where they're going to be doing the training operations?
I don't have any details other than what I've seen at the existing site. And I know part of this is for them to make some improvements. But it is an open area where there's a number of containers to mimic, I imagine, structures that might need to be entered during a fire, and and the fire hydrants, obviously, but that is essentially it for that area. There might be moving some stuff out of the way. Obviously, there's some stuff there now that will probably be moved. But there's no plans for any major construction to locate this.
Any other commissioners have any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, Commissioner Carew?
In the effort of the training, will there be any water that would be pulled from the wetlands there? And vice versa, would any of the water that's used in the training activity run into the wetlands?
No, there won't be any water pulled from the wetlands. These are none of the wetlands are even capable of doing that. But that's why the fire hydrants need to be there. As far as drainage, I don't think a comprehensive drainage analysis has been done in that area, but empirically, it's all located rather low in an area, to me, that looks like, an old gravel pit type of situation. So there's no obvious runoff into adjacent areas.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to ask all their questions? Okay, at this point, I will invite the public up. Please come to the podium, state your name and your address, and like I say, if you could keep it to 3 minutes, we'd appreciate it.
Mike LaRock, 22 Teak Drive, Nashua, directly across the street from the proposed entrance to the landfill. Please indulge me a couple of extra minutes, because in addition to what they might have, I'm here on behalf of 30 other people that are just as concerned that can't be here tonight, that might have taken 90 minutes of your time. Nashua Fire Department's stated goal to have 2 access roads to reach the relocated landfill fire training facility. They have 2 roads, as indicated tonight. One might be a little bit of an issue that might have to be looked at, rerouted, graded, leveled, and prepared. Within the landfill itself, there are 2 access roads currently. We don't need one across the street from our home. Requires water and electrical supply. That's available at the landfill. Said it's difficult to get water from here to there within the landfill. Work it out, run a pipeline. They're gonna have to run a 600 or 700 foot pipeline from Teak Drive up there. If it's 800 feet or 1,000 feet going that way, work it out. One of the issues stated was it might be 30 days per year, 2, maybe 3 vehicles. And as we heard tonight, and as has been proposed in meetings, in written minutes, Nashua Fire Department said they would be the only ones using it. Well, residents have to look at that 365 days a year, not 30. Site visit discussion said it could be now as many as 2 to 3 days a week with a rotation of up to 9 different types of vehicles. 30 times a year to 2 or 3 times a week. And also is confirmed tonight, because of Nashua Fire Department accreditation with the state, however that might work, I'm not going to get involved in that, that it will allow for additional neighbor towns to use that facility. 2 to 3 days a week for Nashua. They said maybe 6 times a year for Merrimack, for Pelham, for Hudson. It's add up to days. Let me stop and ask for a minute to listen to this presentation as homeowners. Look across the street visually in your mind and say, if your 2 neighbors' houses weren't there, would you like a big road right across into what's already a flower garden, where this gentleman had proposed that we'll put some seeded flowers. We don't need them. We've got a beautiful garden there already. I'd like to ask if these pictures include a view of Teak Drive and the quaint little street that it is. The deed intent. I'm not sure if anyone has actually seen the deed at the Hillsborough County Register of Deeds. And what refers to is the attached plan. I can give you a book and page if you'd like to reference that and a plan number for research. Clearly stated on this plan, it says, when it was deeded from Holden Engineering to the city of Nashua, quote, written right on the plan, not a buildable lot. That was on 25 Teak, the larger of the 2. Towards the vernal pool area, 21 Teak, clearly states not a buildable lot. This lot is to be used for drainage retention area. It says that. So here we are with conservation out there looking at wetlands. We know it's wetland. There's a pool. It fills with springtime water, street rain runoff. We know it's there. That's why it's not a buildable lot. That's why we were all told this is conservation land, can never be built on, per the realtors that looked at this deed. Look it up. To the Conservation Commission to recommend, which is the term we can only recommend, we can't approve. Is that the correct terminology?
Correct.
Here's my request. To recommend is the same as to endorse, approve, or propose. You're condoning an action. It's the same thing as approving when you say it's just simply recommending. Your involvement's due to drainage runoff of the vernal pool, and you talked about its frogs. We know they're there, we love them, the kids play them. We know this, it's noted as a plan to be used as a drainage retention area. That's why it says it, because it is a water drainage area. It's not dry. And others will attest it goes up their street to that house. It can back up. If you have one culvert under a bermed road going in, it's going to limit that area, and it's going to fill up. So now that you know the site's limitations, as use as a drainage area and being a non-buildable lot per the deed, I wouldn't condone any further action to take a positive stance on the presentation and the proposal of putting in that access road. Stop it in its tracks. Work's been done, time, money, surveys, I get it. We could have had this discussion before you went through that expenditures. We would have said the same thing. Maybe we would have thought differently. And remember, the good news is, within the landfill, they already have the 2 access roads, water and electric. Doesn't need to be on Teague Drive. It's noted to me, at my request, when I said this, it's not a buildable lot. I showed the city planning people this when they came out. They're kind enough to do it. And everything here tonight is very respectful, and I understand we're just on different sides of the issue, but personally, you guys are great guys. Everybody. But he said, we're not building. When I said, you're building. It says it's not a buildable lot. That's what we were told. I told him, you don't get to change the definition of an English word to your own interpretation of what building is. If you look up building relative to road construction,
Mr. Rock, are you ready pretty much to wrap it up?
I've got
A number of this is kind of
I've got about 3
tangential.
minutes, and I said I'm talking to for about 30 people that are very concerned but just can't be here. I'm trying to go through in a bullet point without expounding.
Okay, Mr. Rock, we'll give you 1 more minute, and then please wrap it up.
That's not acceptable. So if you're assessing a plan, the environment, doing traffic and soil conditioning, you're determining alignment, drainage width, that's building. We'll leave it at that. Solid waste facility buffer. I understand from Mr. LaFleur, the superintendent of public waste, he said typically a 400-foot range. What's a buffer? Reduces noise, exposure to gases, dust, odors, avoids conflicts with abutters in the community, groundwater contaminants. Buffers are a rim and edge of border, and with breaching that buffer, you're going to drive right through that buffer. Buffers are there for a reason. And the good news, remember, is you have 2 access roads already within the landfill itself, and I just have this small amount. Take a moment to visualize the West Hollis Street entrance to the landfill. I'm sure you've all been there. That road is thousands of cars a day, cars, trucks, buses, everything, motorcycles, everything. Teague Drive is more walkers and scooter riders and babies and strollers than cars.
Mr. Rock, I'm sorry, I have to gavel you off.
I'm disappointed in that, because this is a big issue in 3 minutes to represent.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Can I-
Rock,
can I-
it's been more than 3 minutes, thank you. Does anybody else want to speak? Anybody else in the public want to speak? I'm sorry, if you look at the agenda, the public is given 3 minutes. We respectfully ask you to keep to those 3 minutes, to keep it succinct and keep it to the issues, okay?
Well, it's been to the
I
issues.
mean, unless individuals, no, I won't even go there. I'm sorry, but those are the rules. Those are the rules we play by. You were given way more than 3 minutes. I'm sorry, Mr. Rock, but there are other people here. If any of those people wish to speak, you have your 3 minutes, okay? We would respectfully ask you to bring up other issues than what has already been brought
Thank you
up.
very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rock.
Thank you for your time. And respectfully, you took 3 minutes saying that I can't speak for 2 more minutes.
Excuse me, one question. Mr. Hudson, it was indicated that there are 2 access points into the landfill. I am only aware of 1. Is that, can you correct me on that? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wanted,
There are 2 driveways off of West Hollis into the site.
Yeah.
But there are not 2 access
Yes.
roads of suitable use to fire to get all the way to the back of the site where this is proposed.
right. My understanding is the only access from 848 West Hollis Street is down a hill, which you can walk, but you cannot drive. And everything, and it's gated. Thank you very
Yes.
much. So there is 1 access point. Thank you. Please state your name and your address.
Sure. John Collins, 20 Teak Drive, right across from the road.
I'm sorry, it was Collins?
Collins,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you.
And the two access points are for the fire training itself or the landfill itself? Could you come up and?
The current driveways are used by all the activities that occur on site, so the landfill as well as the DPW office facility, as well as the fire training. Everybody comes in and out the same entrances.
So let me finish Mike's here. There are multiple animal species over.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
please speak into the,
Sure,
yeah,
sorry.
okay, because I want to be able to hear you.
Right. Multiple animal species that live in these woods. Again, it's not supposed to be a buildable lot. It says it in the deed. I'd like you guys to take a look at that to make sure you see that. Okay, so we talked about another exit out of the landfill, as well as adding water to it. There are 3 hydrants currently on the landfill. I'm not sure why they can't be extended out to the back, but that seems like it would make a lot more sense than building 2 bridges and building a road through a rock wooded area that may require blasting that would disrupt the wildlife and and disrupt everything that goes on back there with the animals. It seems like it would be more cost efficient to run it from the beginning of the landfill to the rear of the landfill. I've heard a lot of cost talks, but I haven't seen a cost analysis between the road that's being built through the wetlands rather than running the water from the front of the landfill. So, there's been some cost talks, but I haven't seen any of the costs. And I think because this is a taxpayer funded effort, that we should have a cost analysis between that. And this is the first time I heard this. There's a plan for development back there. I heard that earlier. There's a 5-year plan or something. That's my concern as well. Once we build a road back there, who knows what's going to happen next? Are they going to use all that woods up to build residential, commercial, city buildings? I don't know. But once there's a road with water, maybe sewer, and there's already power there, these woods will disappear. And that's the reason why most of us moved to this area, is because there's a lot of animal life, wildlife back there. We enjoyed watching, our kids enjoy it. It's a very low active street with multiple trucks coming a day in front of my house. That will disrupt the whole flow of the neighborhood. So that is my concern. Okay?
Okay. Thank you for your time. Are there any other residents? And again, state your name and your address.
Hello, folks. I am Patrick Polera of 18 Teak Drive, Nashua, New Hampshire, 03062.
I'm sorry, and it's Mr. Blair? Excuse me? Is it Mr. Blair?
Patrick Polera, Mr.
Blair, okay.
Thank you. I thank you for all your time today, everybody. I appreciate everyone who showed up today. I do want to state that this is going to be impeding a lot of different things in our neighborhood. This is going to impact the prices of our homes. This is going to impact our water. This is going to impact damage to our homes. If they are going to be blasting, they can fracture all of our foundations. They can also, there's going to be dust and debris. I did have a note from that from the town somewhere. I couldn't find it today, but I've also found other notes from the town saying that this isn't a buildable lot, this isn't feasible for agricultural reasons. They're not supposed to cut into the forest density right there. There are many subjects here today, and we can't explain them all today. But I would like to go over that the homes will be disrupted. There is paperwork right here, I can show it to you guys too, that because of no changes to the established setback or existing buffers to the Four Hills property associated with Phase 4 expansion, and the waiver will not result in an impact in abutting properties or significance to which the results of complying with the rules of granted waiver is intended to the purpose of ruling waiver. Here it is. Only waste generated within the city of Nashua is acceptable in this facility. Municipal solid waste or construction or demolition or debris of non-hazardous materials and NDS under the collective 5-year remaining of airspace. This is saying that also, in Phase 5, impractical redesignation of development of facilities or to accommodate newly adopted vegetation or buffer zone requirements, because there's no changes. You guys, you gotta understand, this is a vegetative spot, and you guys literally sent out a letter a little while ago saying that you guys couldn't mess with this vegetation. And there, as he said, the deed is also there to state that it's a non-buildable zone. Now also, I would like to also address that there should be a secondary plan for somewhere else to be for this facility. You could go to Split Brook, for example. Split Brook Fire Station has a very open lot with commercial facilities behind it. Dell, Terra Commons, a bunch of other stuff. There's open facilities behind that school that's even there for the World Academy. There's tons of woods right there to go behind and work into. There should be a pump house there. I've seen it as I've drove by. This would also cut down the cost because it would be at your station. Your people could walk right out back. There is also a southern spot on the landfill I've seen on the map. If we even look, we can even get it on this one, but if you go to the southernmost part of the map, it's not on this one, but if we could even see the southernmost part, there's a spot near the dog park down at the southern end where the $1 million homes are. Why couldn't we go to a soccer field or something? There's a pump house right there. We could cut into those woods. There's 100 acres of them right there behind the soccer field. There's another school right there, I know that, but right beyond that soccer field, we could go right in. Sorry, I also have to state that this would be a health concern to my father. He has COPD, multiple heart attacks. I have a note from his doctor determining him that if they're going to be burning materials, it will affect his breathing health and possibly give him a heart attack. And I do hold the town liable if my father does have any health concerns like that, that will appear. As far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of foot traffic in our neighborhood. Multiple children all the time, including my own son, live there. My father and son couldn't be here tonight, otherwise I would have another 3 minutes to talk to you. I had to have him stay home because he's sick watching my son right now. I was going to drag both of them here. I don't have time for this. I work 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day cutting meat at Market Basket. For all you people here to feed all of you.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I feed all you people. I cut meat for everyone here. If you come to Market Basket, you're going to see me there cutting meat. Every single day, 6 days a week. I don't want to come home to 4 o'clock in the afternoon having fire trucks buzz out in front of my house. I'm at 18 Teak Drive. I'm literally adjacent to that. They're going to be parking their fire truck there to open their gate every single day. I am passionate about this. I bought this home 5 years ago. I spent 7 years homeless to earn this home. I started out with $21 and 3 people to take care of to earn this home. And now I'm going to have something like this across the street from me, lowering my property value, making me want to move.
Thank you, Mr. Blair. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
passion and your concern. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else from the public that wants to speak?
Good evening. My name is Dan Rogers.
I'm
I
sorry,
live-
your last name?
Rogers,
Rogers, okay.
R-O-G-E-R-S.
Okay, Mr. Rogers.
For 40 years, I've lived within that neighborhood. The LeVays, the LaRocques, my mother, Manosi, the Latinas. We all have families. You have all the information that you've said tonight. Many people who have said this tonight, they've had all of it. They've worshipped, they've worked. And yes, I do agree to the chiefs that a facility should be changed because things have got. I mean, what? If I might say to the chiefs, we had a couple of years ago, we had a dump fire within that area, and I know it was a very hard area for you to go into, if I'm correct, sir? So, I mean, could I see one day maybe an emergency road, just in case if something happens, that they could not get into it? Maybe. But at the same time, it has been a family area. It's been there, families have moved, families have come and gone, and I know to all of you who have families as well. Continue to grow, continue to love the city, so do I. And I believe that, as we mentioned tonight, there are other areas that could still be used, could still be moved. I just believe that we should all have the full options and have other opportunities so that we can always be into the agreements, because they work hard every day. They do for the fire department. I love them for doing their jobs, absolutely. It's just knowing that what we'll lose, not just to us, but to future families and to keep that neighborhood going, I think that will hurt us just as much as anybody else, because I'm very sure to you who have your own grandchildren, who have their children, their future, and you see that, I think you would just be just as concerned as anybody else going up doing it of something that has been peaceful for so long that it's going to be a little bit more disturbing than it should be. So all I ask tonight is that we continue to have these discussions, continue to have these moments, but to really make sure that if this is a foolproof plan or something we can always do better, I think we should just have more discussions before we make something official. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and we can have a discussion amongst the commissioners. But let me say this. I don't think anybody on this commission is without empathy when there is going to be a change or an impact in a neighborhood. You know, whether you have an empty lot next to you and all of a sudden a house gets built, you know, it's a change and it's an impact. So, I mean, having said that, we also have the legal responsibility for two things. I mean, first of all, we have to look at the overall community and what is being requested, you know, what's the value of that request to the overall community. Normally, that's not an issue for us. It's normally a neighbor, you know, it's normally a residential lot that we're looking at, not usually a big issue. Here tonight, we have to look at a training center. And, you know, my understanding, my experience in terms of what is the most, you know, how can the police department and how can the fire department protect their staff, their individuals, and it's training, training, training. The better trained they are, the less likely they're going to get into situations of harm. And so that's what we're asking for tonight is a training session. You know, we would like to mitigate the impacts. I honestly think, this is just my opinion, that I don't think the traffic is going to be as difficult as maybe people are projecting, but, you know, that's just my opinion. I understand where you're coming from. But we are being presented with a project. We have to look at the wildlife. We feel, I feel that the city has done the best job it possibly can to lessen the cost to the taxpayer, while at the same time lessen the ill effects on wildlife and on our wetlands, which is what is one of our primary responsibilities. You know, regardless, whatever decision we make tonight, as I said before, we are an advisory board, so it is a recommendation. We cannot approve or disapprove. So having said that, I'd like to open it up to the commissioners. Does anybody have any comments, and would anybody like to make a proposal? Okay, Commissioner Darby?
I just have a question if sorry, I don't know your last name, Levant.
To Mr. Kinsey?
Kinsey, if it's possible to do the research on the what's the
Conservation easement?
Yeah, the conservation easement and the requirement, and what the what the city would have to go through in order to put that under a conservation easement. I definitely recognize the concern about the expansion, even though, yes, this is going to be gated now. With the press for additional housing in the city and the state in general, I can see how, you know, there might be some push to further expand this area once there is a road in there, and if there's a conservation easement that will effectively prevent that. And as we talked about last time, there are a couple of endangered species have been noted in this area. So I'd like to get more information about that. Thank you.
Is any commissioner interested in making a motion? If not, I'll make the motion. Commissioner Ridley? No, that's okay, I'll make the motion. Okay. I move for a positive recommendation for the access road for the Nashua Fire Department Training Center with the following stipulations. Stipulation 1 being the pollinator wildflower mix. Number 2, that only natural erosion control be used. Third would be the request that a conservation area be researched and, if possible, designated so that there could be no future development in that area. Easement, I'm sorry, yeah. A request to research a conservation easement to exclude any future building in that area. I get the fourth stipulation would be the cleaning up, addressing the issues in the vernal pool. And as a side note to the residents, the reason why we have that stipulation is apparently residents have been dumping vegetation into a vernal pool, and that's not what the wetlands That's not why the wetlands were created. Okay, so I just want that as an aside, but that's not part of the motion. Any other stipulations on the part of the conservation? Okay, do I have a second to that motion? Okay, seconded by, okay, hold on. We have it seconded by Commissioner Woodhue. Normally, at this point, I would ask for any discussion, and that would be amongst the commissioners. But if you have a concern or a question, I will allow that.
Well, this is related to the
You want to, yeah, go ahead. And just introduce yourself and your address, please.
Oops. Hi, my name is Karen Morris. I live in 16 Hazel Ave. I'm one block over. And based upon the discussions we've all had today, I truly do believe that it will impact our property values, and that's not a good thing. And so I believe as part of the stipulation is for the people that are in the immediate vicinity, go back and lower their taxes by $100,000 a year for their property taxes. At least do something for the people that are being impacted negatively.
Okay,
And it's just something to consider.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Unfortunately, we have no authority to put that into a stipulation, but I understand the concern. Okay, I'm sorry. I will allow that, and that's the last one. Yes, I mean, yes, yes.
Sorry, Donna Bushy. I live on 5 Delory. Forget where I live.
Just
but it's
relax,
right
we're
in the
okay. We're not
neighborhood.
going to bite.
But I wanted to know, like, in the first place, like, so I don't get it in some ways. Like, is there already a place where the fire department has in the landfill that they do their training? So it's got to be expanded for that? Is that?
No, the issue is that there's a lot of redevelopment going on in the landfill.
Okay.
Okay. And the area where the existing training center is has to be dismantled because a new building is going up, and in fact, that's what we're going to be looking at next month. Okay, so they're reconfiguring a lot of things in order to bring the equipment at the landfill has been out in the open.
Yep.
And now they have to build a building to house it because it's very expensive, and you know, keeping it in the elements is not good.
Okay.
So that whole area where it is now is going to go under redevelopment.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay. I thought
that's
they were just,
what
I'm
brought up the
sorry,
whole issue.
expanding.
Okay, yeah,
All right,
okay.
thank you. And I do have a concern. I'm sorry, I have a black bear that comes over every day to see me in my yard, and there's a lot of wildlife, you know, in those woods in between that landfill and the homes even, you
Yeah,
know,
trust me.
that would be disrupted.
Right, and that's our goal, is to
Yeah.
protect that,
Okay.
you know, as much as possible, okay? Okay, so we, any further discussion by the commissioners? Okay, so we have a motion on the table, we have it seconded by Commissioner Woodhue. I'll call the question, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. I know it's difficult. The next step, Mr. Kinsey, would be zoning board, correct? Okay, so we are going to be making this approval, this recommendation to the zoning board, and you can go to the zoning board and go before them. They actually have approval process. Okay, so that's the next step. And Mr. Kinsey, can they call you in the morning if they have any questions about when it's going to be on the zoning meeting?
Yeah, so the zoning meeting will be posted on the city website. And if you do have questions as to how to find that, you are welcome to contact me. My name is Levent Kinchi, and I'm in the sustainability department. So you can look up my phone number. I don't have it on me right here, but you can find it on the city website.
And under community planning?
Yes.
Yeah, or community development?
Community development.
Yeah, community development. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your input. It is appreciated.
Please get out and take a look at the site. Say, does this make sense? I'll ask you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rock, say that again?
He said, get out and look at the site.
Oh,
Some of you from the site visit, have you already been at the site to see it?
I'm
we
sorry.
have.
Yeah, we did a site visit on the 14th.
Yeah,
We did.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I said, I met some of you there.
yeah, right.
The ones who haven't seen it,
Yeah,
residential is a gift.
I know,
Thank you. I wish I could have spoken. I can present the balance of that sheet to you.
absolutely.
Happy to have you.
If you want, we
Thank you
can,
for your time.
I can see if we can attach it to our minutes. If you, yeah. None of this is ever easy.
This interacts with zoning and planning again, but we're trying to address the conservation one after talking about those topics. How many times have we heard in the news that TV objected this proposal because there's a bird with young spots, there's a turtle that has stripes. And we have black bears, all that stuff. 2 hours of looking at the directions. You don't see that.
I know.
Turkeys, all that fox bears.
Okay, so,
In the words of zoning, and they approve or deny, that's the last thing I want to read, just read it.
okay.
It's zoning.
Let me check with the powers to be, and if we can have this as an addendum onto our minutes, we'll do it.
Doesn't make sense going from West Falls into a neighborhood. Family even driveway plans.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. We're just on different sides. You're great. Of course.
Understood. Okay, let's see, do we have another, where's my agenda? You got it, Dick? Okay, yeah, great. Okay, Commissioner Sarno, did you want to talk about the Eagle Scout kiosks? Sure. Oh,
All right, close the door.
yeah. No, Dale's gonna,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, go for it.
So the NRPC is going to be providing us with free trail atlas maps. And these are going to be based on existing data for Northwest Sanctuary. They've already GPSed that. And they will go to Joyce and GPS that. That's pretty straightforward. Harrison, the Eagle Scout, has had a couple of fundraisers at Lowe's in South Nashua, and prior to his last fundraiser, he had raised $1,800 of his $2,500 goal, so he's making really good headway. We will need other content for the kiosks, such as rules, of course, a poster with rules, and then some interpretive information. I think for Joyce, we probably should pull some information out of the, maybe the historical document or the stewardship plan. And I think that at Northwest, do the same, but maybe get some information from Audubon, since their property is sort of the gateway to our property. So his timeline was, he thought he might be putting these kiosks up in July or August. Obviously, we're in August now.
Right.
You know, things take time, so, and just a note, I will be away from August 17th through the 30th, so Commissioner Dutsey, Chair Dutsey, will you be able to help him if
Yep.
I'm not available? So that's all I have on the kiosk.
Okay, great. Yeah, Commissioner Darby?
Thank you, Chair. So I wonder if this Eagle Scout has a fundraising page, like a GoFundMe page or something, if we might be able to put a link to that from our website.
Ooh. Yeah, well, I know, it's a horrible configuration.
I'm just trying to use the map. Like,
Is Commissioner? Oh, I think they're recording?
It is being recorded as a video.
Oh, yeah, right, okay, so can you,
Make sure that
yeah,
it be heard on the mic.
can we hand?
I'll
hand
give you
up-
mine.
Yeah, just
So-
right there, yeah.
So he has been raising funds through effectively what he calls bake sales at Lowe's. And it's really, somebody gives a donation and they may take a brownie or
Yeah,
not.
right.
He doesn't have any GoFundMe page or anything of that sort. So, and we have been promoting his bake sales, if you will, on our Facebook page.
I see. Okay. Thanks for doing that.
Sure.
Carol, if, could we do something on the Facebook page where we say if people would like to donate?
We could.
We, could, and maybe, well, I don't know if we wouldn't want to give his number out, but.
No, we
No,
wouldn't.
we wouldn't, we wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know how, I don't know how we would do that. Unfortunately, yeah.
Let me check in with him to see whether he's reached his goal. I did send him an email, and he's just, he's a busy kid, so I'm waiting for him to get back to me. But he may well have reached his goal
Okay.
with that last fundraiser. He had been out 2 times prior at Lowe's. One of them was a rainy day, so I don't imagine he did that well that day. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. The only update that I don't have an update, but this Saturday at, what did we say, 10 o'clock, from 10 to 11, we're going to be doing kind of a pollinator identification at Buck Meadow. And we sent out a flyer to the, we have it on our Facebook page, and we sent out a flyer to the library, so we're trying to get children there. Nobody may show up, but, I'll be there from 10 to 11, and I'm planning on looking to see if we can get some, kind of flyers that we might want to hand out, so that if any kids show up, so like, this is what a bee, so did you find a bee? Did you find a dragonfly? That type of thing, so that we can kind of turn it into a game. So it's the first step to see if we can get more community engagement. If we get people there, great. If not, hopefully it's going to be an hour of me looking for bugs, I guess, or whatever. Okay, so that's the update there.
I have a question on
Yep.
that. The location?
Buck Meadow, you know where Cherrywood is?
No.
Okay.
It's basically the intersection of Buck Meadow Road and Cherrywood Road.
Yep.
Cherrywood Drive.
You know Captain's Corner?
Main Dunstable Road.
That I know.
Dale, do you live in Nashua?
For 45 years.
See, that's why
Is
you
Cherry-
joined the Conservation Commission, because you find all of these places you never knew
So the
existed.
intersection is Cherry?
Cherrywood
Cherrywood.
and Buck Meadow.
Thank you. I'll find it.
Yeah, Carol.
Sherry, did you want to go there ahead of time and look and see what's there? I'd
Yeah,
be
you want to go
happy
on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Okay.
Dick, you're interested? Anyone else?
Our son's going to be up here.
Yeah, Dick's
Ah.
not going to be able to.
Anyone else interested in going for a preview?
I may even try to drag my grandsons.
Sweet.
Oh, great, good. Yeah, Carol, I'll give you a call in
Okay.
terms of the time and everything. Does anybody else have anything else that we need to talk about tonight?
I do.
Okay. Commissioner
Um,
Sarno?
So this is part of the land management
Okay.
thing. So I noticed when I was at Lovewell recently that a new sculpture had been placed. And the sculpture is actually, by my calculations, within the wetland buffer. It's roughly 40 feet from one edge of the wetland and 50 feet from the other, and I believe that Lovewell is a 75-foot buffer. I know, Chair Dutsey, you were going to look into who authorized this?
And Levant, I thought Deb had followed up on that. Is that?
I believe she has. She has not told me the information about it, but she has received that communication for sure.
Okay, so could you ask her to get back to us, like maybe via email? Yeah, I'd be very interested in finding out how that got authorized.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Also, as part of that, so actually, I went there specifically to do some cleanup. The area around the parking lot had been very overgrown, so I brought my weed whacker there, and I got there to weed whack, and it was totally clear. So somebody had cleaned up the area, which I could say, yay, good, but they also clear-cut the pollinator, or, I'm sorry, the
rain
water
garden.
garden, the rain garden.
The rain garden?
The rain garden. So, and so they used something, probably like a brush hog or something like that, that could actually take down shrubs. So, so I assume that those two things might be related. And then also on the sculpture, we have an easement on that property through the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests. And that easement prohibits structures from being placed on the property. So usually what we would do is approach them and ask them, hey, is it okay if we do this? And they would most likely say yes. But I think in this case, if that sculpture is staying, then we should do that retroactively.
Okay, I mean, first of all, I think we probably have two entities involved. It's my understanding that that there's a sculpture committee and that they make the recommendations for placement. Okay, in the past, when they've wanted to do anything in the wetland areas, they have contacted me. I never got contacted, so we have to go to the site selection committee for the sculpture, and then once they make that decision, my understanding it's DPW that actually places it because of the weight and the heavy equipment that's needed. So I think we need to follow up with both of those entities, and actually we have to look, and we may be looking at mitigation for a wetland disturbance or a rain garden disturbance. I mean, what they did was serious. I mean, it was a serious wetland violation, and we went through this once before with the disc golf, and it appears that people have not gotten the message, okay, that if anything is near water, they should at least be making an inquiry, okay? So I think as a commission, we should take this very seriously. Commissioner Darby?
Can you explain the rain garden to me that they cut?
Yeah, well, when you, so at Lovewell, you have the 4 parking spaces where you come in. Well, right at the road, that was called a rain garden. I mean, and Morans planted it originally. We didn't think a lot of the stuff there was really rain garden stuff, but, we've maintained it. Brendan donated I want to say a shovel, not a shovel. Yeah, what was it?
Clethra.
Yeah, Clethra, right, a Clethra, which was doing very, very nicely, and should be blooming right about now, and is pollinator friendly and everything, so, I mean, if they mowed that down, but, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah.
Who's they?
DPW most likely, yeah.
What about if we put up a sign saying no mowing here?
Idiots, no mowing. I'm sorry, that is not, no. Listen.
No, some kind of,
If it's close to a water body in the city of Nashua, then they contact community development, and community development determines whether or not the Conservation Commission should, okay. And these are 2 organizations that have worked with us in the past and should have known what was required. Okay, Dick, so a sign, I mean, I don't think.
Well,
a
we
sign
don't
is
know
necessary.
who cut that.
DPW, somebody in yeah, and it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't some guy who just got on a mower. Somebody authorized somebody to get on a mower and to mow the place down. Okay, just like the tree in front of my house that almost got cut down, but anyway.
It-
So,
If I
yes,
can
Commissioner
just-
Sarno?
Sure. It was very overgrown, so it did need some attention, that's why I was there. So, I mean, in a sense, I was like, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, except
But
they
then
mowed
I-
everything.
Then I looked at the rain garden, and I'm like, well, I think they might have gone a little too far here.
Yeah, yeah, right, okay.
May I continue?
For the record, I don't think the Dick suggestion is that bad, because it's exactly what Commissioner Sarno just said, which is maybe the delineation isn't that obvious.
Maybe what?
The delineation between where the rain garden starts might not be that obvious.
But I think another point is that property is conservation property, and normally the DPW doesn't go in and maintain our properties. They just don't do that. I wish we had a better relationship with them so that they could do some of that for us, but right now we hire folks to do mowing and things like that, so it's very unusual for them to have done this. And I think the only reason they did it is because they were, I'm assuming, they put that sculpture in there, and they thought, well, let's do a little cleanup while we're here. I don't know.
Commissioner Whitehue?
It may not be clear, though, that that is a rain garden, and that's why I think it somehow needs to be made more clear in the future.
I agree, Dick, that, and I think there's some talk of that rain garden becoming a pollinator garden. So, and I think we had a Girl Scout who was doing her gold, I think they called it a Gold Award, which is sort of like the Eagle Scout for a Boy Scout. And she was going to take that on as a project, but I'm not sure where that stands.
Still, the fact of the matter is, it's conservation land, and the DPW does not have the right to mow anything and everything down just because they think it looks better. Okay? We still have
Agreed.
telephones. I think they know the number of community development, okay? And I think it's imperative that they begin to understand, you know, that you have to be selective in what you do, because, you know. So I, as chair, would appreciate a phone call to the powers to be to say, please come before us and explain yourself. Okay? And the, oh, I screwed up once again, may not play out this time. There may be mitigation. I'm serious. I mean, what they did was very serious. And you know, I'm tired of playing patty cake with this kind of stuff. Anybody, Carol, one last thing, how many more things?
2. So, as we discussed last time, Riviera, their day of service is on September 20th. We will have between 30 and 40 students. Most or all of them will be at Terrell doing meadow restoration. That is a day that I will not be physically present. I'll be away at that time, so I'll need somebody to take that over.
Okay, the 20th of September?
Of September, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And lastly, I think, NRPC has been working on the trail maps for Southwest Trails. They've done a lot of updating their GPS tracks to reflect the current trails, and they're still working on that. They should have something to show to us in September. I don't know whether we want them at our regular meeting or whether we want to have a special meeting for that, to review that. So I provided them with some information, points of interest, intersections, et cetera, that we wanted noted, plus 1 and 2 mile loops from the rail trail kiosk, and then a 1 mile loop from Lovewell Pond. There are still some trails that are unnamed, so I need to provide names for those. But they're getting really close, so it's a good thing.
Good. That's it?
I think that's it for me.
Before we end, that reminds me, we have a hero amongst us tonight. Commissioner Sarno saved one of our Nashua residents who got lost in Beaver Brook. And because Commissioner Sarno is a docent or a volunteer at Beaver Brook, she was able to identify where this woman was located and was able to, walk her out? Very impressive.
Yes, so Sherry called me and explains that this person is lost in Beaver Brook, and so.
And it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, we were actually at the Shakespeare in the Park, so, at the Greeley Park. And so the woman called me then, and this is someone we both jointly know, and I said, so you're in Beaver Brook? And she says, no, I'm not in Beaver Brook. I'm in some land that's adjacent to Beaver Brook. I'm like, and she's telling me trail names that I had never heard of.
Oh.
So I had her send me she had no mapping apps, trail mapping apps or anything, and she was running out of battery. And so I just had her send me a Google Maps link showing where she was, and I just had her stay there, and then Mary Lou and I drove to the nearest trailhead, which was in the Fensenden Woods or something like that in Brookline. And then, yes, I did hike in, and she kept sending me locations, and found her, and we walked out and we drove her back to her car. So, yeah.
Hear about this from the person who.
Oh, you did? Okay.
You did?
Well,
Yeah.
okay, good. I'm glad
So
she
maybe we
got
should be
out.
offering that as a service now, Carol.
I don't
huh?
think so.
Well, she was in trouble. And, yeah, she was
very upset.
Yeah, she was, yeah, I mean, it was,
She
yeah,
was,
so,
yeah,
thank
very
goodness. Yeah, thank goodness you have that mapping experience and that GPS experience and all. Really appreciate it. Okay, anything else that anybody needs to bring up tonight? Okay, seeing none?
Oh, I just
Okay,
was
okay,
curious.
yes,
This
Commissioner
said-
Darby.
Thank you. This said we were going to talk about this tonight,
No,
but we're not.
it wasn't on the agenda. Okay, so even though they wanted it on the agenda, it didn't make it in time, so next agenda? Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, come on.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Do you have a public hearing? I mean, can we make public comments?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you want to make a,
No, I just-
yes, yes, right. Okay, and the synopses are not working tonight.
That's okay, I'm gonna give you my.
Oh, but give me,
I'm
yes,
gonna
right,
give you
exactly.
stuff.
You sat through the
I
whole
just have a
meeting?
Very quick question, yes. Jean Batchelder, 13 Cabot Drive, Nashua. I worked with Sherry before. I just had a really quick question about the Eagle Scout project, especially on the trail maps that were going to be on the Northwest Sanctuary. Do you know if the maps are going to delineate? I tried to find them online. I don't know if they are online. Do you know if they are online?
They are not, they are not.
No. Do you know if they're going to delineate the fact that there is private property at the end and that they
Yes.
shouldn't trespass on that?
I know that for sure, because I actually had the draft of the map, and I marked it up, showing the parcel and giving the parcel ID for the parcel that's on private property.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not using the thing here, but.
Yeah, no, okay, I was just trying to find that.
Yeah. And I also mentioned to them that there's a fence around that property.
Yeah.
So, is that your property?
It's been in my family. for,
Okay. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Not hundreds of years,
A while.
60, 70 years.
Yeah.
something like that.
So I did make them aware of that
Okay.
fact, because the trail actually, the map actually showed the trail going onto your property. And so I definitely,
Not mine.
okay, your family's property.
Pepe's property. Pepe is,
Yeah, so I did make it clear to them
Okay.
that that was not,
That was the
Yeah.
question.
And
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, aren't we eventually going to be putting those maps on our website?
once they're.
Yeah, once they're
Sure,
approved. So,
yeah.
and we do have a website now, if I can remember the name, Nashua CC? What is it, what's the name?
Oh, I think, I looked on that,
It's
I
not
am
on the
here
city, it's
today
not
to
on the
ask-
city website.
She wanted to make sure that we weren't,
I didn't want you to go through all the work and have
Yeah.
the Eagle Scout do all the work and then us say, wait,
Stop.
don't let them,
yeah,
don't let the people come down here.
yeah, no, it'll definitely, the trail will end, basically, I guess. As I recall, it's sort of, your property is off a little bit to the left, and then the road continues on straight.
Well,
When you get
go
to that.
all the
Yeah,
way
yeah,
down
yeah.
through the-
No, I know, all the way
through
down, almost to the
swamp and then
pond.
down, and then it goes off to the left, but I don't know that the.
Yeah, it does
that the
actually-
trail goes. So when they hike, do they go,
You go, so usually when I go in there,
there's also a fork halfway
I take a
down,
left
you can
usually
go
at
up.
that fork,
Oh, okay,
because
yeah,
that brings
okay.
you all the way to a nice view of Pennachuck Pond. When you go to the right, you,
Also, the private property has a nice view.
when you go to the right,
Well, wait, Carol, is NRPC going to be coming to our next meeting and going over?
we haven't, yes, NRPC will have the southwest maps for our September meeting.
Okay, so, so the south, is that the Farley
She's talking
Grove?
about northwest.
Yeah.
Oh, you're north,
Northwest.
they'll have the southwest, they won't have the
They
northwest?
might have the northwest. The northwest
Well,
is a
Jean,
free
Why
map.
don't we do this? When we
I
know
can show you
that
it.
NRPC is going to be coming to show us
Okay.
the draft, Levant, can you make a note so that we notify Jean? And I'll try to remember also, so that you can come to the meeting
And I can
and
check
see
the
it.
your website and see if it's on the,
Yeah.
Well, it won't be on the website until it's approved, so this would be beforehand.
will be on the agenda that they are coming, or?
It should be
We'll
on the
notify
agenda.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't know which
Okay.
one it's going to be, but you keep an eye out on the agenda, okay? If it says
All right.
NRPC, you might want to come.
Perfect, perfect.
But if we have your email address, we could notify you.
I can give you my email address. Should I give you my work phone, or
Whichever one you'd like to send it to you.
you
can
do
do that.
not
Yeah.
give it to you on public? Yeah. I
Yeah, you
will.
don't have to do that, yeah. You can write it down.
Oh, my boss might not want to, I'll give it to you. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
so much, and
Yep, no
don't want
problem.
mean to prolong the meeting. Long, exciting meeting. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Widhue. We have a second by Commissioner Caruth. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.